Big Pharma is an economic strategy game developed by Twice Circled and published by Positech Games. It puts you at the helm of a budding pharmaceutical company and tasks you with completing a series of objectives ranging from develop a certain amount of cures to earning a certain amount of profit. It's a game very much in the vein of other factory sims like the excellent Factorio. You research different ingredients and the machines to process them with. Your choices come down to whether to run this drug through more processes, thereby increasing its cost, but will eliminate any side effects, or just kick the drug out the door to make some quick money. To get the more serious and money-spinning drugs, you'll need to add in other drugs and mix their properties. This will lead you to forming these giant Rube Goldberg machines and trying to fit them into the limited space you're given. In essence, all you're doing is raising or lowering the concentration levels of the drugs to activate its good effects and mitigate its bad ones. When certain conditions are met, the drug's positive effects will change, and then you'll have a new set of conditions to meet in order to change it any further. Then after it's processed, you have to pack it, ship it out for sale. You'll start off with only the ability to create pills, and then you can create creams, sachets and syringes, and each one will add to the drug's value. Graphically, the game's as good as it needs to be. The machines are all very well detailed and all have quite nice animations to show what they're doing. You're not having your mind blown here visually. The character portraits for the CEOs are all simple enough, and the UI is effective in making sure you know what you're doing. Gameplay wise, Big Pharma is aiming for the fine line between simple and complex. Connecting the machines together is easy, and placing the machines themselves is a simple matter. How they all work together is where the real gameplay lies. Each cure is, in essence, an odd lateral thinking puzzle. How to process each drug to the point where it's effective and profitable. There's also a good bit of planning involved as well, because it's not always the case that the more advanced drugs bring in the most profit. Some need to be processed so much that they'll actually lose you money at certain stages. Learning out how to forecast this and work around it is key to late stage success.
Insufficient funds.
So far, so good, right? Yeah, well, yes and no, because after sinking in some serious hours, now that's something that will happen before you know it, a lot of issues start to come to the fore, namely the lack of variety. The lack of variety hits every aspect of Big Pharma. There's only about 4 or 5 level layouts which get really samey very quickly. There's not a huge amount of cures to develop either. There's only about 10 to 11 highest level cures, and by the time you discover and research the final few, you'll either be out of time, out of space, or out of patience. The missions don't ease the issue with them alternating between developing a certain amount of a particular cure to earning a certain amount of money within a certain time frame. Only 1 or 2 of extra stipulations to make it interesting. You'll also wind up playing all the different missions the exact same way as well. With the limited amount of resources at the start, you'll quickly realise that pumping out shitty drugs is a necessary strategy at the beginning, but as there's no fallout from doing this, you'll have no desire to attempt to do anything any differently. The lack of any negative effects discourages you from evolving your strategy into learning how to produce good drugs cheaply or avoid putting out garbage. This lack of any serious repercussions to putting out a drug with mad side effects means you'll just wind up not caring. At the start of every mission, you'll get 2 ingredients which can be turned into really shit early drugs, and you'll just pump them out because you need the cash, and as I said before, there's no penalties for putting out shit drugs really. Then you'll discover other ingredients and use them to put more shitty drugs out until your cash flow stabilises, and then you can really afford to actually put in a decent process chain. But even then, why bother? Outside of 1 or 2 missions which require you to put out drugs with no side effects, there's no side effects from the side effects. This means that the only motivation to put out a solid cure with no side effects is just the satisfaction of putting out a cure with no side effects. They're only marginally more profitable anyway, and if you've got the concentrations just right, the cure's quality won't even be affected that much. This also points to another key flaw in the game, the competition. Outside the odd patent filing, your competitors don't affect your gameplay at all. The only thing they seem to do is fill up the message bar with annoying fucking messages about their latest products or patents. Other than that, they don't influence your game one single bit, making them a pretty pointless addition. Another place where the issues arise is the research tree. In Big Pharma, you have to hire scientists to research your new equipment. More advanced tiers require more scientists. Yet the number needed for each seems to have almost been chosen at random. Nothing is more annoying in this game than straining your finances for those extra 2 scientists to unlock the advanced methods tree, only to find out that everything in that tree needs yet more scientists to be hired to research them. But despite these issues, which will hopefully be ironed out in future DLCs, Big Pharma is an absolute time sink of a game. Everything about the game is designed to ease you into it and yet keep you locked in like some form of gaming quicksand. It's a game you could literally spend an entire day on, and in our COVID-riddled world right now, well, you got loads of those to spare.